Hello, viewers. We're live right now. This is Facebook, and this is the Gray Area. And this is your boy, Ray E.
This your boy, P. Wills.
And this is Ebony.
Ebony is here with us in the building. Y'all, we have some very special guests today. We are going in on business and entrepreneurship and what it takes. How do we get wealthy? How do we build business? How do we make profit? These guys that we have here today are supreme examples of what it takes to build business and to stay consistent in entrepreneurship and build wealth. We have Antonio Lisenby.
Yes, sir. How you doing? How you doing?
Yes,
What's up,
sir.
man?
Yes, sir. Antonio is a guru. I tell you what, several years ago we worked together on an idea, that he had, and we built a website. And years later, he's in a $multi-million dollar business, 5,000 Inc., 500 Inc. I mean, you name it.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Diamond Hair Company. Also with my partner Hope, we created a company that's been able to hit the Inc. 5,000 mark 2 years in a row. Been 6 years now, and we're just looking to keep building on it and keep it going. Also doing a little bit of real estate in Indianapolis, buying and selling
Blueprint
homes.
Investments.
Blueprint Investments. There you go. Flipping homes, trying to help build the communities, taking the ugly houses and making them back, beautiful homes again for the next owner to live for the next 30, 40 years or so.
Absolutely.
Wow, man, that's impressive. Man.
Absolutely. My man, King Kendall,
Yeah, man.
entrepreneur,
Yes, sir.
R&B artist,
Yes, sir.
Tech
Yeah,
Team
man.
2,
Yeah.
internet guru,
Yeah.
social media, marketing,
Trying to do it.
doing it all.
Yeah, just signed with as the new media coordinator with Hype Magazine, #1 digital magazine in the world right now.
Absolutely.
Nice, man. Congrats on that, man.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy. I'm moving to Atlanta next month.
Oh,
That's
nice.
big.
Yeah.
Shout out to Jabila.
You know. yeah.
And our friend, radio host, WIBC, entrepreneur. Man's got his hands in everything.
Usually it's bacon and cigars. For those who remember last time.
Shabazz Bacon.
That's all right.
What other man
Oh,
loves
man.
making money than Shabazz?
Nobody.
Nobody.
My dad. That's where I got it from.
So
My
we
dad
got-
always told me, son, you can be black or you can be broke, but you sure as hell better not be both. Because this world will have no use for you.
and also a comedian.
Yeah, you see, exactly.
Also a comedian, right?
Yeah.
On occasion, just ask the judges.
Comedian by trade.
So,
Got you.
so fellas, we got a huge problem here. Everybody want to be a business owner. Everybody want to be successful. Some people want to cut corners and trying to get that moolah quicker. Why do businesses fail? Let's start with
Talking about
Shabazz.
black businesses or just businesses?
Businesses in general. I mean, black folks, we have our own problem, in regards to building business. But I think it's across the board because there's also people from all different races who have problems starting businesses and keeping them afloat.
Well, statistics show that the 50% of all small businesses fail in the first year, that another 95% fail in the second year. And there are lots of things we can walk through. You choose a business that's not profitable, you don't do financial cash management. But I found a lot of times people, you sort of get this idea, hey, I'm going to start my own business, and you sort of have this romanticized view of what you're going to do, but then you fail to do all the follow through.
Right.
Because it's work.
Right.
It's planning, it's sweat. And when we get to the African American part, a lot of times you want to say, I want to go into business to help my community. No, you go into business to make money.
Right.
Then you can help your community is sort of the ancillary effect of you doing well.
Right.
But if you can't make money, all this other stuff goes out the window.
Right.
I want to, you know what? I want to ask you that. Why you think we as black people have that in mind first? Help, the community first as opposed to.
If you look at it historically, African American culture has always had a more collective attitude, as opposed to our European cultures have more individualistic attitude.
Okay.
So I understand that need for community. Plus, there was a time when it's perfectly legal that you're segregated, so you all kind of live together. You can't move out and sort of work with the mainstream economy and can't participate. So you want to just sort of work together. In the 21st century, you couldn't survive just doing business with one group. To be brutally honest, you got to do business with everybody.
Right.
And sometimes I think people look beyond that I'm going to help my community. Well, that's fine, but there may not be enough people in the community to support what you're trying to do. So be ready to sell to everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Absolutely.
That is
I never judge a man by the color of his American Express card. But I prefer black.
Oh my goodness. King Kendall, same question, man. Why do you think it's so hard for people to maintain the status and trying to be a business owner? What's
Because
the problem?
I think honestly, first thing that comes to mind is the effective laws of leadership. It's
Okay.
not the suit, it's not the car, it's the ability to lead people. If you ever walked into a building, a store, any business, and the aura, you ever had disrespectful service,
Yeah.
it goes from the top down.
Right.
And so energy is everything, and leadership is everything. You have to be trustworthy. The law of giving up to go up with the right people. You can't be stingy. You have to give some of your time, services, and abilities to those, and learning the barter system. And just people don't make the right moves, but the first thing that comes to mind is leadership.
Explain the barter citizen.
So one of the number one things that got me in with Hype Magazine was the fact that, one of the things, I give up some of my services. If you have a company or something that they have something I want,
Right.
and I got something you want.
Right.
Now, this is big because some people do this all the time and never get paid.
Right.
Very true.
So it's not that you do it all the time.
Right.
It's that you're very selective with who, and you must get results from that company.
Right.
And so I'll give a website, I'll give graphic design, I'll give social media boosting to a company that will turn around and wrap my vehicle
Right.
with a bunch of promo.
Right.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then I
Absolutely.
promote that business. And that's the law of giving up to go up.
Right.
And some people think that giving up is losing power, but you sometimes gain.
Right.
And you have to,
That's so
and the first steps to starting a business, it's word of mouth.
Right. Absolutely.
And so you have to be loyal with integrity. And it's just the law of leadership, really, honestly.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Antonio, what are your thoughts, man? People. I mean, and you've been through the bottom and the top. You know what I'm saying? So it's really be good to hear from you on what are your thoughts on why people give up in business.
The main reason is poor cash management. I think people don't, and it's kind of understandable when you first start in a business. You're trying to pay for your personal life and your business.
Right.
And with poor cash management, I think a lot of people fail in doing that. And a lot of it in lack of education.
In regards to the cash management, what do you mean by that? What are they doing wrong with in regards to the
First
cash
of all, probably commingling their funds.
Yes.
Okay.
So they're
Talk about
probably
that.
got a business account, or they probably even starting off with the personal. And it all boils down to education,
Right.
Not being informed on what they're supposed to do.
Right.
But you can get over that by just drive. In hindsight, I think if you take enough pitfalls, you'll find your way.
Absolutely.
I think starting off is just poor cash management, just because you're trying to start a business, but then you have your personal life as well.
Right.
I'd honestly like to submit something else, too. One of the other problems is the passion and the why are you doing it?
Right.
Yeah.
Because, listen, there
Some
are
people
some
wanna do it
professions
because
I
they see
could
people-
do.
right,
I
yeah.
could do it.
Right.
But about 3 weeks in, I lost
Yes.
drive, motivation.
Absolutely.
This was more than what I wanted. I ain't passionate. It's like you have to pick the right field.
Absolutely.
You have to. And I think that's one of the
Absolutely.
major things.
Doing something that you're passionate
Yeah.
about is definitely a big deal.
Right.
Do you,
just
do you think that is one? I'm sorry, didn't mean to cut you off. And we can go to your response. Do you think a lot of that is because we tend to think because we have a skill at something that we should be doing it?
I honestly believe not only that, you have a skill, you have a person who has a skill and then they think they're the boss.
Yeah.
If you're the smartest person in your room too small.
Right.
So
Absolutely.
they lack the ability to have a gift and then understand the type of people. I run the boat system, meaning my assistant is she's pessimistic. So I'm A-type personality. If we're going fishing, I'm the dude in the water with probably don't have a fishing pole, probably don't have no bait, but I'm ready to fish. Let's go. Let's go. My assistant is, okay, we need sunscreen, we need bait. She'll never get in the water,
Right.
but she has everything she needs.
Right.
The power of working together.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of people, they think they just have the skill, but they don't release other abilities and build a team, which starts with if people won't follow you, you need to find somebody that people will follow and catch the vision.
There you go.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
You got to become the student before
Yeah.
you become the leader,
Absolutely.
which means you got to teach people.
But even before you do that, where's your plan?
Absolutely.
What did you write down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which encompasses all these things you've been talking about. Okay,
Right.
what exactly are we going to do?
Right.
You know,
What's the
what
vision?
what's
Yeah.
our mission?
Right.
And sometimes you try to do everything. Like you can't do everything, and you can't do it out the bat.
Right.
So what's the game plan? How am I going to finance this? Is it something I need an office for, or is it
Right.
something I can do from home?
Right.
Or is it something I can go to Starbucks
Right.
and do? What is your game plan? Then once you figure that out, then all those other things come into play. But if you have no plan, I've been amazed. It's like I want to start a business. Okay, what do you want to do? Well, I don't know.
Right.
We'll be in business
Right.
for very long.
That's a good point. That's a good point. I would like to piggyback on that. That's a good point because the plan, for instance, there are things that I planned 9 months ago. It's the process people are scared of too.
Right.
Because you want
Or
something
get tired of.
and you don't realize that it's 9 months away and you have to
gotta-
work on it now.
I mean,
Right.
you gotta
So it's
start
like
small and go
exactly
large.
like there's some things I
yeah.
planned 9 months
Yeah.
ago that I knew even wouldn't come into fruition until later.
Right.
And so they're scared of that. We are in a microwave society.
Yeah.
Fast food. And
Everybody wants it
everybody
fast.
adapts thinking that everything works like that.
Right.
And, it
And
does.
everyone wants to
Right.
jump and like just not go through the whole process.
Correct.
You know, they don't want to like start small and grow large.
And to piggyback on what you said, Antonio, about the whole barter system thing. A lot of times, that's how you can use. That's what you can use to get started. When I started my website, anypolitics.org, I bartered with some friends of mine who were web design people. It's like, okay, tell you
Right.
what, I'm a lawyer. I'll take care of some legal stuff for you.
There you go.
You do me a favor, design my website, and that's always been our sort of
Right.
exchange back and forth
Right.
because they'd have the money they needed for an attorney to take care of a couple legal things,
Right.
and
There you
just
go.
starting out, it's like, okay, I don't want to spend a whole bunch of money, but hey, we can barter
Right.
and go back and forth. They're like, hey, Abdul, you pay all the hosting fees and everything else, we'll design it for you, and that'll be the trade-off. You take care of our legal stuff, we'll take care of your website.
Right.
Bam. We're
Right.
good.
We always hear the term "never use your own money." Individually, can you guys give us why people say that and how do people do that? Because I understand that, but a lot of people are saying, "What do you mean I don't use my own money?"
Is that a good thing to do or not?
Right. Explain.
I really think it depends on the situation, what exactly it is you're trying to do. Now, if you're trying to build some, get multi-million-dollar investors for some new app or whatever, then obviously you want to try to get as many investors as you
Yeah.
can,
Right.
humanly
Absolutely.
possible. But if it's just you, and it's a hobby that you're going to turn into cash down the road, you're probably going to invest a little bit of time and a little bit of money
Right.
Yeah.
up front.
Yeah, your own capital.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I, honestly, I come from the world of use what you got to get what you want.
Okay.
So if I come from the world of use my own money. So
Okay.
when I hear that, I mean, and I don't know any really other, I mean, I know other ways, but when I first
Right.
started, it was definitely
Right.
using
We're talking
my own
about the
money.
person who has no capital and
Yeah.
they want to start a business. So
We
where
need,
do they
to have,
start?
we need to have a meeting.
It goes back to
I think
goes back to the
I mean,
beginning
if
of
you
the
have no
knowledge.
capital,
like you
you
were
shouldn't
saying,
be taking out
the
loans if you
knowledge,
have no-
man.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well,
but I
That's
think
true.
I think a person that's kind of starting their business as what you're presenting,
Right, right.
I think that you pretty much are going to be starting with your own cash. So
Right.
I think it's pretty hard for somebody to start with their idea. It's hard for
Right.
somebody to get somebody else to invest in you.
Right.
Outside of using a credit card or something like that, I think it's kind of hard unless somebody else really buys into your vision or your vision is really in depth. It's probably hard to get somebody to fully invest in your vision. So
Right.
you at least got to put some of your capital inside your
Right.
your own vision for somebody else to invest in it as well.
right.
And by the way, where's the legal paperwork?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Understanding of credit,
Yep.
business credit, Dun and Bradstreet. I mean, you have the knowledge.
Yeah. Let's talk about the paperwork for a second. Paperwork, not having your paperwork in order, everything from being licensed, everything from being a trademarks, everything from having contractual agreements.
Right.
Let's talk about why these are important for business.
When you get sued, all this will be important later on down the road.
Everything
Right.
is important then.
Because number one, are you, it's for legal purposes and it's also for tax purposes.
Right.
That's the other thing people forget. Are you a sole proprietor where the money you take in is considered like your personal income? Are you an S corp? Are you an LLC?
Right.
Are you a standard corporation? Because
Right.
there are tax consequences to all these different types of things. And also legally, if you're a sole proprietor, you're the business and the business is you. And so if somebody slips on your property, you're all in trouble. Whereas if you're an
Right.
LLC, the limited liability corporation protects you and shields you from
Right.
losing everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So understanding what type of business you are and moving
Yeah.
forward on that paperwork.
The last thing you said, contracts, white and black.
Right.
Because when money gets involved, the rules change.
Right.
And people had just, man, this is probably one of the most standard things in business dealings. You just have to have it in writing. I don't care if it's your cousin, I don't care if it's your daddy, I don't
Right.
care if it's your wife. Get it in writing and understanding of what it is that we're going into on any level, client,
Right.
employer to client,
Right.
business to business, barter to barter. I even get my bartering agreements in writing.
Right.
This is what I expect from you. This is what you expect from me. And this is a key. You need to under promise and over deliver.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's
Explain
another
that.
reason.
Explain that.
Oh, under promise what you could do. We have all these salesmen, and I'm a good one. And we have all these salesmen who can promise so many things. Whatever industry you're in, you promise somebody. You make all these hope dreams, and you want to be successful. You have a big heart to help, so you jump out there and you make all of these promises. I can do this, and you oversell, you overpromise, and then you underdeliver. Is what many
Right.
people do. You promise everything, and now you got the client looking at you like, "What you said."
You only give them 10%.
And believe me, clients, you may think it's just a phone conversation. They
Right.
retain
Remember
everything that
you
has
said
to
you
do
was
with
going to
them.
give them.
So you may think they're not listening, but they are. You need to under promise and over deliver. Promise less, give them more.
Right,
And
right,
that's-
absolutely.
yeah.
Why are contracts and documentation important?
I mean, it just it kills all arguments,
Yeah.
future arguments, especially if you get all that stuff knocked out in the
Yeah.
beginning. Do not try to get it knocked out in the end, because in the end, it's going to be a haywire thing, and nothing's going to get accomplished.
Right.
If you're trying to do it in the middle of an argument, but if you do it in the beginning, it kills pretty much
Absolutely.
all arguments.
Absolutely.
Everything's in writing. You can't go back on nothing unless you renegotiate. with
Yeah,
the
they can't be
contract. So-
revive.
Now,
Yeah,
They can be
right.
revised,
They
yeah.
can be
They have it on
revised.
paper.
It's important for
Yeah.
people to understand their roles when they're starting a business, especially if you have a partner.
Now, I'm going to respectfully disagree with my gentleman over here
Okay.
just a little bit. The contract doesn't necessarily resolve all issues, but it
Correct.
gives you a framework
Correct.
when the issue does
Gotcha.
pop up.
Yeah.
Right.
Because there could still be a contractual dispute.
Correct.
When were these goods supposed to be delivered? Was it when they left my house,
Right.
or
Right.
when they showed up on your doorstep, or
Right.
what happens if something got lost, by
Right.
the mail? So, a contract doesn't necessarily resolve all disputes, but it gives both parties a framework to work from.
Correct.
Also,
Absolutely true.
I tell people when they don't want to have a contract, it's like the contract is not for the stuff that you think of; it's for the stuff that you don't think
right.
of.
Yeah.
Right.
And by the way, I
Makes
can
sense,
assure you, anybody who's been in business for a while, the contract they have now is not the one they originally started
Right.
with. Because over,
I wish they would have put some stuff in there.
because over
true.
time, stuff
Yeah.
happens that you don't think
Yeah.
about. Like,
Things
okay,
change and things,
yeah, we need to fix that
Right.
for next time.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's interesting.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, I'm gonna skip over that. We're gonna talk about that later. This is really a question for you, Shabazz, because it's more political than anything. But so I'm gonna skip over that for right now. Okay, so a person starts in business, right? I hear this all the time. They're making money. They got the tools. They got all the equipment. They don't have a tax ID. They're not with the Secretary of State. Explain to people why it's important to get your business registered with the state and get your trademarks in before you start making a lot of money.
Because when Uncle Sam shows up, Uncle Sam is going to want his money. And also, the thing is, like I said, once again, this goes to what type of business are you? A lot of times, if you're a sole proprietor, your social security number can be your business
Yeah.
identification number. Also, a lot of people will not want to pay you unless you have
Right.
a tax
Right.
ID
Yes.
Right.
number, because
Right.
they're like, no, where's the 1099 or whatever
Right.
contractual form? Because
W9, COI,
yeah, because
all
I'm
that.
not writing you a check unless I got a tax ID number. Because when the Uncle Sam, but there's an issue or problem, we say, here, Uncle Sam, we paid him. Here's a tax ID number. Here's where the money went.
Right.
Also, when you register with the Secretary of State's office, once again, if there are issues that pop up, your life is a whole lot easier because you're registered. And think about it with your customers and your clients. Because one thing I ask you is, okay, are you registered with the Secretary of State? No. Do you have a tax ID number? No. No offense, but you're my cousin who fixes stuff out the back of his garage.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. absolutely.
While this may work at 65th and King Drive in Chicago, this is not going to work here.
That's big. Where the levels, different levels, so needed. Like you said, it can be done without on the level. That's the lower level. And when you get to higher, you start making money. And like you said, it's Uncle Sam. I've been in experiences where Uncle Sam has wanted money I thought I reported. I must not have.
Right.
And so
They have ways of
they have
knowing.
ways. They do.
If your bank is
They know.
They will levy
growing,
your account. Oh, they'll levy your account.
and your social
they will
security
get their
number
money.
doesn't state.
Take it out your check. They'll do anything. But you just want to have your affairs in order, and that has a lot to do with leadership, the level, the mindset of a business owner, understanding that. And this is something huge too. It does not mean you have to set it up yourself. You just need to get it done.
Absolutely.
And get somebody on your team who can take care of those responsibilities, those set of responsibilities.
Delegate.
Absolutely. And that goes into my next
Yeah,
question that I
yeah.
have. Go ahead.
I don't say you got to delegate, just chiming on what he was saying. You got to delegate your tasks, especially as a business owner. You want to make sure that at a certain point, you're not going to be able to do everything in your business.
Right.
So you definitely want to delegate tasks
Right.
as you grow.
And by the way, and when you start out by yourself, I totally understand it can be completely overwhelming. What do I do? How do I get all this set up? There are tons of resources available. Your city, your state chambers have resources available for small
Absolutely.
business people. The Secretary of State's office has a whole checklist of everything that you need to do to get your small business
Right.
up and running and do it the right way.
I think that is the biggest problem is saying, look, I want to start a business. You know how to make the money,
Right.
but you don't know how to get it solidified, downtown and with the state and
Correct.
everything. There's a process. So,
And
as
by the
you
way,
were stating-
nowadays, you don't even have to leave the house. You can do everything online and you're done.
Absolutely,
Right.
absolutely.
Correct.
As you were
Online.
stating, get someone who knows how to do that.
Correct.
And this goes into my next question on people investing in themselves.
Correct.
I think that one tool that we used was the barter system. But we also threw out there that if someone can't do it for you, you can do it yourself.
Correct.
If you absolutely don't know how to do it, it will take you longer to do something than it would if you paid someone who knows how to do that.
Correct.
Trust me, you're saving money investing in that.
Make
When
it
I first met
right.
Antonio, he didn't know how to do websites. He didn't know anything about that, so he hired me. But I tell you what, after that first website, Antonio was pumping out his own websites. You see what I'm saying? It's
Yeah.
all about getting going and understanding what you're getting.
Exactly.
When you get that product,
Correct.
explain what people need to do when they get a product and they learn it. That's where you get the information from, right? When you hire someone to do it for you and you're learning how they're doing that process as well,
Right.
now you don't have to pay anybody else to do that again.
But
You got a
sometimes,
head start.
Yeah, but sometimes there are some things that aren't your area of specialty.
Yeah.
And that
Right.
once again kind of
I agree
sometimes
with that.
goes into trying to do everything. I'm not a web person.
Right.
Not
Right.
my area of specialty. I'm a political lawyer guy. So guess
Right.
what? I got a friend who takes care of that. I got
Absolutely.
an accountant.
Absolutely.
That's what they do. They take care of that. Now early on, you're trying to do everything. Then you realize, hey, this just isn't my
Absolutely.
bailiwick.
Absolutely. I agree with that. Because I hate videography and I'm not great at it. I will pay somebody to do
All day.
video in a heartbeat.
Yeah, when you start off though, that business is your baby though.
For sure, for sure.
You're babying it, so you kind
wanna
of want to
save
know
us.
a little bit about.
Yeah, I put that
Absolutely.
damn
A
baby
little
on
bit
the,
of you want to know a little bit of accounting, a little bit. You know,
I put that
just
damn baby
just
on, put
enough,
that
just
damn
enough.
baby on somebody's doorstep.
Oh yeah, definitely as you grow, you're definitely getting rid of that baby.
Right.
That baby
What-
definitely grows up.
Once you start making money, you delegate that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not something you know how to do it, but that's not something you handle anymore.
Yeah, a
So-
business is different to me than like sports. For instance, in sports, you want to hone in on your strengths and work on your weaknesses.
Right.
In business, I come from the mindset that you absolutely flourish on your strengths
Absolutely.
and your weaknesses. You get somebody who's strong in.
That's
I don't think we really. I mean, honestly, bro.
Right.
You sit around, this is not the gym. This is not like working out. This is business.
Right, for
We are.
sure.
We're set up to win, and so like you're saying, you got to get someone who does. You can dibble and dabble in it a little bit,
Right.
but this is the key in being a unique. If two of us are the same, one of us ain't necessary. So I have skill sets
point.
within myself that even the people on my team don't have, and you
Right.
may dibble and dabble in it. But Chris Dreamweaver on my team, can I take photos? Yeah. Can I take them like Chris? No.
Right.
You know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Absolutely.
Because Chris specializes. He looks at the camera and looks at it in different ways. Brother be talking Chinese to me. Talk about the megapixel was at 6. All right, bro, I got you. That's good. Go ahead. Now, don't teach me. I got it.
Yeah.
So it's working together and exemplifying your strength.
Absolutely.
Talking about that business mindset, do you think that it's necessary to always be the boss in your vision? Even though that's one of the hardest things probably to ever do is to not be the boss. Because some people think they're supposed to be the boss.
I think there's a difference between
Yeah.
being the boss and being a leader.
Okay.
Correct. That's what I was
Explain,
getting ready to
explain
go.
the difference.
Okay.
If you're the
Yeah.
boss, you're telling everybody what to do all the time.
Okay.
Right.
If you're the leader, you're delegating authority and letting the people that you hire
Right.
Do what
do
they
their
do.
job.
Right.
Correct.
You're
Right.
just sitting
Absolutely.
back. Just,
Yeah.
Yeah,
And,
that's
and hopefully you
leadership.
hire smart people that you don't have to sit there and look after every 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
And but do you think that's a part? Sometimes that's a part of our problem because we will get burnt out trying to be the boss.
Correct.
Whereas
Ego.
we should have actually passed the ball to somebody else
And I think it's
become that leader.
and I think it's ego. Honestly,
Yeah.
I think it's ego. It's you. A lot of people, 8 out of 10 people, don't like knowing something they feel they should know. Nobody really told you like you should. That's a weakness. You know, get somebody that's a strength.
Right.
And delegate and feel good. I mean, like this.
Right.
You know how comforting it is. I used to do my own stuff. I used to before my team,
Right,
but
right.
delegating responsibility.
Right.
Yeah.
But people, here's another reason people don't, because you didn't build enough relationship with your staff
Right.
to trust them,
Right.
Yeah.
and that's the problem. You went in solely on business. I built relationships with my royal family for months to a year before we even started breaking bread together. Like just let's talk. I would call everybody every day, keep them hyped, because they're going through jobs and they're going through pressure and they're going through life. And when I call, I hope, hey bro, we still on it. We still on it. We still doing it. We're still going. We're still going. Casting a vision, because when they trust you,
Yeah.
you can delegate responsibility. So there's a lot of trust that's needed in business.
And by the way, when you delegate authority, you actually get more stuff done.
Yeah.
Straight
up.
That's true.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Tony, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I was looking at my phone. What was the question?
Just basically talking about the difference between leaders and bosses. Some people think they can lead, that they're not true leaders, so they should delegate that work.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Especially when it's their vision.
And to be honest, this is kind of hitting me personally, because I've been one of the guys who's kind of like, I do it, I'll do it,
You
I'll
want to
do
do
it.
everything.
Yeah, but I've kind of been growing to kind of trying to delegate it now.
I do want to say though, it can't get hard. I ain't gonna lie, because we are acting like it's easy. There is a lot in business.
Yeah, really,
Yeah,
it really
fam.
was. So I was
It
over
really
here.
is some situations where I have delegated some stuff, and it was just like, fam, you taking too long. You know, I do it myself.
For sure.
But it
sure.
is a happy medium.
Yeah,
You have to have
It is a
that.
happy medium.
Yeah,
Right,
you
right,
gotta have that
right.
trust
Yeah.
with it.
I guess
Yeah.
it seems to be hard to find someone who can do it in the same fashion as you, but that comes with the growth of the business, right? So would it be that the leader needs to teach that person properly?
The leader needs to
Because
have
because if
value.
you created this,
The
then-
leader needs to have
right,
value.
Right.
Because the number one thing that'll get somebody to do something for you is money. If you
Yes.
have no money, it's influence, value. You have
Yes.
something that they need that you have. Listen, if you don't have value, people won't follow you. It's
Explain
that
value.
simple. For instance, the bar. Like, so I'll give you plain as day. So I keep going to Chris, but Chris, my photographer, he was doing photography before I had him as my photographer. So now Chris didn't have a website. He wanted one. He's busy. He's getting his money. He's doing his thing. But I created a system with him that expands his business with resources that I have,
Okay.
with connections that I have that he does not have. And I build a system with him that instead of if you don't give him money directly, you give money to his pockets indirectly by systems you set up for him.
Okay.
So if you don't have value for someone, you need to have something. It's the party. It's the something that I have that you want, and it can be anything. It can be anything, but if you don't have value, it makes it hard. If you don't have value, you need money, currency. Period.
Right. Right.
Well, you know what? In business, I want to ask you guys something. What do you think is more important in business? Money or building relationships with people?
That's chicken and egg. Because it usually takes one to get the other one.
Okay.
Because a lot of times the money that you'll make, where it'll come from is based on the relationships that you have with other people.
Okay.
When I used to work at WXNT Radio just right down the street here on 92nd Meridian, when I left, and decided to go build my own political web blog, all the relationships that I built over the 6-7 years that I was there really came in handy when it came to get interviews, when it came to finding
Absolutely.
advertisers,
For sure.
because everybody automatically knew
Right.
you know, who I was and what
Right.
we were doing. So those relationships were already there from day one, which made it a whole lot easier to, like I said, sell the advertising, start generating the revenue to have the website grow and develop. And like I said, going back to your thing about the bartering system, you barter from people that you have relationships with that you can trust. How did I get my limousine for prom when I was a teenager? My dad bartered. He was an accountant. He did taxes for the guy's limousine company. So they, okay, I'll do your taxes this year. Get my son a limousine.
Nice. There it is.
Nice.
Yeah.
Some of the best business owners believe that is leadership. Although I believe, also that you must have the mind to be able to read people, because some people you get to their heart by paying them because they've been taken advantage of.
Right.
So for some people,
You wanna
handing them cash,
incentivize them.
handing them cash is a door. But any good business owner should go in with the mindset of, now this is my entry in. They have a game plan for now that when they're in, and that is leadership. That is beyond money. That brings in money. When you have systems set up right, when they're set up, when there's trust there. I personally believe it's relationship.
And setting up somebody else to make money is
For sure.
that's
huge.
their biggest
huge.
get
That's
up.
huge.
Is
I'm winning. I
getting
want you
them
to
to
win
set
too.
up. Yeah,
Correct.
just setting them up to make some money.
That's it
Correct.
right there.
I
That's
think
it right
that's
there.
the biggest thing that you can do
That's
for
huge.
anybody pretty much.
Yeah.
In business, we know that there's failure, right? It's nothing you can avoid.
Right.
It's rare that somebody gets in business and doesn't fail first. That's how you learn. Explain to people that, and you guys can use a personal experience, that what happened when you failed but you kept going, because there's a lot of people who fail once or twice or even 3 times and they're done. Business is over with. So let's go into that. Tony, we'll start with you first this time.
Well, we started Diamond Hair, and I had a couple online things that I probably kind of prepped us for this. And with my partner Hope, she was a hairstylist, one of the top hairstylists here. And when we started, we pretty much started with our own funds, and we pretty much grew it from there. So,
How much did y'all start with?
well, we both put in $700 a piece.
$700.
So we started with $1,400 out of our pocket, and we never put a dime back. Everything was generated from profits.
Nice.
Organically,
How
it just
did you
grew,
start? I
got
know you're kind of touching on it, so because this is inspiring. Of course, $700 a piece is inspiring to me. So, what did you do to start? Because a lot of people look at Diamond and they'll say, "I want to just be Diamond immediately."
Right, right. It doesn't. It's not gonna. We called it at a good time. So I think timing is everything. But everybody has their time to do what they do. Sure. So we started, like I said, with $700. Hope, being in the hair lane, me being in the kind of the online presence, and then got with Ray E.
Sure.
That's pretty much how we connected. He put the website up, and then we had YouTube reviews that was going up almost immediately. Ray can remember.
Oh yeah.
He's
Crazy. Look,
Yeah.
35,000 a month.
Yeah.
Wow.
A month later.
Almost soon as he
Crazy.
put that up, right?
Yeah.
It started producing, but that came from just being the right time and
Right,
putting in
for sure.
legwork of building it up.
For sure.
Was the product trendy at the time?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it-
definitely.
When you say being there
yeah,
at the right time.
It was
Okay.
definitely timing. People are still selling hair or whatnot.
Where'd you start?
We started in 2011, so
Okay, got it.
we're 6 years in now.
Wow.
And we've been growing ever since. But
Right.
the whole hair extension thing is pretty much grown since then too. So we've grown with that. And we got like 100 and some thousand on Instagram followers. We got 100 and some thousand, 15 I think I last looked. Facebook followers. So we've been doing pretty well. There's a lot of competition now, so it's kind of
For sure.
It's been a challenge. It's not been so
For sure.
climbing the mountain so
Yeah,
quick
yeah.
now. It's kind of
Yeah, yeah.
it's kind of
Well, you
it's kinda
guys
losing
led
that
the-
brain power now.
You guys led was the segue in Indy. I know that for
Yeah.
a fact. And your success sparked a lot of minds.
Oh, yeah,
Sure
definitely.
did.
And a lot of people started, you know, branching off of that. So, but that's all. And we're going to stay on the same question as far as like the failure or whatever. But that's the main reason why it's important, and we'll go into this later, to do multiple different things.
Oh,
yeah.
Because
Different streams of income.
when your time is good, your time is good. You know, and you have to start doing other things. So, but you know, go ahead and finish your story on failure.
Well, as far as failure, I mean, before Diamond Hair, I've dabbled and dabbled in a couple different business things. I've owned a car lot with a partner.
Tell it. Say it.
I did sold jerseys when the Michelin S jerseys was popular.
Okay.
I did the whole sneaker thing back in when I was in college with my buddy Chris. And I mean, you know, just different things. I even dabbled in real estate back then. Attempted to. Then had my license and was trying to, you know, just do different things. And my thing was, I knew I didn't want to work for somebody, so I was trying my best to figure it out on my own. So I mean, I go to seminars. I do the online. I'm heavy online as far as you know, just researching online things like that. So I mean, just because something doesn't fail, I learned something in the midst of me failing. I never even looked at any of my failures as fails. It was like, okay, I know what not to do or what I need to do moving forward. You know what I mean? So that's been my whole thing is, and I'm pretty confident in myself, and I think that's a thing too that you have to have when you enter business. You got to have a confidence in yourself,
For sure.
that you can do it and that you can succeed once you see it in your mind what you're trying to do. So I think, you know, that in itself is you have to have that confidence
For sure.
to move forward from your failures.
sure.
If not, you're just gonna put your head in your shoulders and turn
Absolutely.
around and go back home and
Yeah.
you know, go back to work the next day.
And it wasn't that, you know, and I remember this vividly, it wasn't that you were inventing something new.
No, definitely.
You used certain things as a tool to advance what you were doing.
Definitely.
And then you
and-
just created your own.
Yeah,
lane.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have him explain that later on, you know, with the online thing, because that's when we was like, holy, you know, people have this access to these tools, they just don't know how to use them. So we're gonna talk about that later.
Yeah, for me in the music industry, it was the same thing.
Right.
I ain't doing nothing new with music. I was just doing it a different way.
Right.
I'll first say this though, because of something he said. I generally encourage women not to really get serious with a man until he's in his 30s, because it's not until his 30s he really finds out what he wants to do the rest of his life.
Absolutely.
Until then, he's gonna take you through everything. Like I did for American Financial Services, selling cars, running there. So, you know, and then you get your 30s, and you're just kind of like, all right, I ain't messing with that no more.
You
And
gotta
so,
get serious.
but I mean, I went through so much, and in the music industry specifically, and I can't wait till we get forward to different streams, because
Sure.
that's something, you know, I'm an artist and I'm in that world, and I take the business hat of, as soon as they think they got you figured out, switch it up on them. But I honestly, in the music industry, I started with my phone, and it was apps. And I go crazy research, man. And I believe in what makes you purple. So I wanted to be purple, meaning if there was cows are black and white. So if I'm a purple cow, I'm in the midst of, I'm a cow, but I just got to do it a little different. And so how can I get people to really rock with me? I'm a singer, and there's millions of other singers. What can get me to stand out? And one of the biggest issues in business, people, is overthinking. So I used what I heard. I'm not being arrogant. I just read the comments.
Okay.
The girls were saying like, "Oh my God, I love your smile. I love your personality, and I love your natural voice." So I looked up this app, and I only saw one guy. Shout out to Mr. Talkbox. He's crazy. He's got a
Yeah, I
million
know.
followers.
Yeah, I've heard
Crazy.
that guy. Yeah.
And I saw a video about him, and he's doing that vocoder stuff.
Yeah,
and he's
yeah,
doing
absolutely.
separate boxes, and it's all his voice. And I'm like, man, I can do that, man. I got to do it King Kendall style, though.
Right.
And I just did acapella video, and it was about 2 years ago. It was just becoming like a thing. My video did one of my videos did 2.6 million views. Page jumped like 100. Man, all my stuff went crazy.
Right.
And it was a plan though. You know how most people tell you, man, I didn't know that was going. Nah, bruh. I wanted to. Everything had
Right.
like, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna release a project here. But the failing forward for me was learning. I don't consider any business not working or you had a goal and you didn't meet it as failure. It's failing forward, because I've never met a business owner who even owned something and it shut down that didn't take a guap of knowledge from what they learned from that shutting down,
Right.
and they applied it to
To
another
the next
business.
thing.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying? So I don't
absolutely.
believe in failure necessarily. Failure of the mind, yeah.
Right.
That's called quitting.
Yeah.
Failure is really quitting, the real definition. So I've gone through so much in finding yourself, and so the using what you've got to get what you want,
Right.
and understand. Like, here's another thing. I'm an artist. I drive a car I can afford. I live in a place I can afford. I don't keep up with the Joneses. I don't try to act like I got it if I don't. And when I have it, you'll see. And all of those is what led me to hype. Moving to Atlanta, got a full office suite studio with a Jaguar waiting on me. That came by proper stewardship.
Absolutely.
Like I could be driving a Bentley. I don't have the fun. No, not really. And we got too many people out here who want the attributes
They want
of
the
what
look.
come from successful
They want the
business,
look, right.
but won't do the actual
Won't put in the
things
work.
to actually practice discipline.
Yeah.
So.
Absolutely.
Now, see, my situation was totally different because I spent my 20s, going to college, going to grad school, being a reporter,
Yeah.
going to work for a politician, then going to law school. So it was pretty straightforward, nothing out of the ordinary. Now, along the way, my father was always big on having his own business, own company, and that sort of thing. So the compromise, because my mother's like, no, you have 5 boys, we're going to make sure that there is always money coming in.
Right.
So while he had his regular day job, all my parents always had their side hustle. My dad did taxes, my mom was a caterer. So they always had something going on.
Right.
And so I kind of picked that up from them, which is, okay, I have my day job, which is, XYZ, but also got little side things going. It kind of goes to that whole conversation about multiple streams of income. Because I don't believe in getting all your money from one place, because when that goes away, you're going to have some problems
Right. Right.
down
Absolutely.
the road. Now, what I did with indie politics, you kind of turned it sort of negative because the radio station I was at, they decided to automate and get rid of all the local people, because that's what broadcasting did. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I always wanted to start my own political website where we focus on Indianapolis, Indiana, and Indiana-related political issues. Nobody else in
Right.
town was doing it.
Right.
And so I got together a few people, kind of put a few mocks together, political friends of mine, hey, what do you think? Does this work? Like, yeah,
Right.
I'd love it. Then I went, took the idea to some friends of mine, like, hey, would you think this might be something that somebody might want to buy advertising? Yeah, definitely. So once again, those relationships that were built up, in the past, all started to come in handy.
Right,
But
right.
what I found with what I do for a living, there aren't necessarily failures per se, but you always find out more innovative, creative ways to do things and do them a little bit
Right.
better.
Absolutely.
Something I started this year was back in January was like a daily email blast, or go through all the newspapers, TV, radio stations, online, and take like the top 12 stories, summarize them all in a daily email, and then send them out to like 1,000 people. Now, my universe is Indiana's political class. That's my audience. And so those are the people who read it, those are the people who follow it, and they all love it. Because now, in 5 minutes, they can see everything that's going on across the state that's delivered at 7 o'clock in the morning. So as soon as they get up, they can flip it on. If they want to see the story in more detail, they click the link and bam,
Right.
there we go. And it went so well, it's like, you know what, I wonder if I could sell advertising in this.
Right. Right. There you go.
So guess what? In every email, there's like 3, different advertisers in each
Right.
one. So, like I said, failure, not necessarily,
Right.
as much as it is just kind of taking an idea and running with it.
Right.
The best thing I ever did was I came up with a little thing called the cheat sheet. It's a political gossip column. Because as a reporter, there's lots of stuff that you hear, but you can't necessarily report on because you can't confirm it. So I'm
Right.
like, okay, you know what? Why don't we just label it gossip? And rumor and innuendo, and everybody knows it's gossip and rumor. Now, it's nothing like libelous or slander, like, this guy was seen walking out of the men's bathroom with this person over here, or this
Yeah, I
person
mean,
got this
gossip.
person pregnant. Like, no, we're not the Inquirer, we're not quite that. But it's like, hey, rumor has it this person's about to leave the governor's office, or this person's getting ready to run for, the United States Senate.
Right.
So I started putting that together, and everybody reads it, everybody loves it. It's like, and then one time I had a politician call me because he was in it, and he got mad and pissed off about something I wrote, and like, you're full of shit, blah, 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 blah. I need a retraction. Like, wait a second, Senator. I don't know who all my subscribers are, but I know you're not. It's like, no, I'd never buy that crap, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know what? I knew that damn thing was getting circulated. Now I'm going to go sell advertising in it. Thanks, dude. Bye. Click. Guess what? That paid for my trip to Seattle last year.
Nice.
Wow. That's nice, man.
And that's-
So the
yeah.
trick is, like I said, it's sometimes it's failure, sometimes it's just constantly building, on an old idea. Because one thing you have to do is stay innovative. You cannot get complacent, because
Right.
as soon as you do, that is when it is game
Right.
over because
Right.
now you made the crucial mistake of you got comfortable.
Right.
And now you will go the way of the H.H. Greggs and the Toys R Us's of this world.
Right.
Bankruptcy today.
Yep.
Bankruptcy today. Toys R Us.
Antonio, please tell the viewers, you know, and I mean at this point, you know, you didn't did the thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So let the people in on how Diamond Hair exploded.
It pretty much exploded. I mean, it's all online. I mean, pretty much me and my partner Hope, we pretty much learned the social media aspect of growing, and then it's pretty much social
Caught their
media.
wave.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty
Caught
much
their wave.
we caught it.
Right.
Like I said, we caught it at the right time.
Yeah.
Social media kind of, you know, I mean, it was already out, but it wasn't out. You know
Right,
what I mean?
right, right.
I think the last 7 years, you know, that we've been in operation, social media has really grown as far as people waking up. First thing that they look at is
sure.
their phone. So,
Right.
you know, just being on the social media growth has really grew us, and you know, doing SEO, things like that. And then you got, you know, there's other
Keywords
marketing,
on your website, making
keywords.
sure that you come up in Google and
Yep,
YouTube.
exactly.
Tell
And
us
YouTube,
about
YouTube is a high ranking website. So you know, promotion on YouTube is very beneficial in the online community for advertising and things like that. So you know, you got people who advertise on YouTube that get paid.
Right.
So you know, you send them products, and then they do their review or whatnot on your product, and then
Right.
you know if they give you a good review, then it's all good. Everybody
Right.
loves you. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you know, things like that is really what helped explode the company.
Absolutely. And it's like, why didn't look? This is what killed me about it, because I remember having a conversation with him and he told me this, and I said, man, why ain't people been doing this? So basically, you got the person that do tutorials, right? They do the makeup, they do the hair, they do all this online, and they have millions of followers.
Right.
Millions of followers.
Yeah.
You send them product. You say,
Correct.
hey, I like what you're doing. Here's some free
That's what we
stuff.
do.
Take this.
Yeah.
Take it, you know, for
then-
free.
and
And if you like it,
Yeah.
put a little link on the site for me.
Right.
All those millions of viewers,
Yeah.
they want their hair done exactly like the
Right, it's
tutorial. So
right.
that's where they're gonna go get the product.
But that's also assuming
and it-
also assuming too that person is going to say something good about your product.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the risk you take. That's the risk you
You gotta
take.
be confident in your product.
Absolutely.
Don't
Can we
send it-
pause for a
don't send
minute
it
though?
if-
Something that he's saying that hurts my nerves with business owners is the social media.
Mm.
And if I hear one more business owner say,
I hate
I don't really like Instagram, I don't really like
You're gonna be
Snapchat.
behind.
I'm not
then
on
you don't
there.
exactly. But this is where I would
That's a
apply
good one.
the someone who on your team is, because it
There
is
you
vitally
go.
necessary.
Absolutely.
You cannot be in the business world. If the Weather Channel, the National Weather Channel, is now getting information they didn't even know about these hurricanes through Snapchat,
Right.
through social media.
Right.
You can't tell me it's not. For people who get paid
Absolutely.
$60,000-$70,000 a year to find out what's going on in towns with weather,
Absolutely.
are getting their information from people who make $11 an hour at Walmart.
Right.
Bruh.
But see, here's the thing though about social media. I believe social media is a tool, and you
Yeah.
got to know what exactly are you using it for, and what is your goal, and what is your purpose.
Yeah.
Why are we doing it? Are we doing it just so we can say, hey, we're on Facebook and Twitter
Right.
and Instagram,
Right.
or is it part of your once again your master business plan?
Correct.
For example, when I do any politics, I'll use Facebook and Twitter to push stories out.
Right.
And I'll just here's a couple lines about what the governor did today. Go back to the main website; it draws the traffic back. But if you're just on there just to be on there,
Yeah.
then you may as well not be, because it's a waste of time. It's got to be part of what is your business plan to get your
Right.
word out and your product out.
Right.
Don't just say we're on it just because we're on it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Even your personal page should be strategically posted.
Oh.
Absolutely.
You
Absolutely.
should know
a lot
how
of
it
people
works.
kill themselves. Let's talk about that.
Seriously.
A lot of people who are business owners kill themselves on social media, not giving the dang on.
thinking it's
And
what they should be learning.
Right.
Is for kids.
So let's talk about that and how you can strategically use your social media
telling you.
to gain more business.
Yeah,
You know,
they
a
think
lot of
it's
people
for-
follow you and they love what you do as a business owner,
Correct.
so they follow you just because of that. You know, and so and I don't know Antonio. Every time he get a new location or a real estate or new product out, the hair stuff, I see all of
Staying
it.
engaged.
I see all of
Staying
it.
engaged.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But see, if he never did that as a business owner, I wouldn't know.
Correct.
You see what I'm saying? So it's
Correct.
important to tell the viewers how important it is to be consistent and align your social media with what you're doing.
It's got to be consistent, but again, you can't just do social media just for
Absolutely,
the sake of
absolutely.
doing social media.
Correct.
I've got a Twitter account. Okay.
Yeah, what
Right.
are you doing? Exactly.
You got to have a plan.
Yeah, you got to have a plan.
Yeah.
And then also the thing too to keep in mind is who is your audience? Who are you trying to reach? Who is your customer base?
Right.
I mean, I have friends who do radio here in town. They have a ton of followers, but once again, if I'm a fine dining restaurant, I'm not advertising with them because I don't want those kind of people in my
Absolutely.
place. Because
Right.
guess what? They can't afford to eat
Absolutely.
here.
Okay.
So once again, who is your audience? Who
Right.
you're trying to reach? What message are you trying
Right.
to get across? And I
Right.
think a lot of times, like I said, like I said, just to be there for the sake of being there doesn't do you any good. And so
Mm-hmm.
when you sat down and put that plan together, what is your social media strategy? We're trying to reach these people and
Right.
in this field.
Know your demographic.
Exactly. Know your audience.
Right.
Know your audience, or tell Facebook and Instagram who you want to be your audience,
Right.
and pay
Right.
for paid advertisement.
Now, how does that look?
Uh,
Telling
I-
people
that-
who you want to be.
So let's take Facebook alone. You get into like I said, what many people think is for kids, little kids, hashtagging, and then getting in through the Facebook. If you just take Facebook alone, Facebook, getting in there through finding your core demographic. If you have a page, get a actual, what we call a fan page on Facebook. It has no limit to how many likes you can have, unlike the friend page,
Followers,
5,000
right.
followers.
Yeah.
So you have that, and through that is the only Facebook account that you can do what's called paid advertising. And you get on there, and each post you post, you should see something that says boost post. Hit the boost post, and you will see. Now take the time. Don't get on there and then just go, this just looks too confusing. Click some stuff, mess around with some stuff. Click around there, get to know it. Instagram, the stuff they think is for kids. When he says plan, a part of the plan is the knowledge first. When you get your new phone, you spend 2-3 days just figuring out how it works. Social
Right.
media works the same exact way. They are not all in the same. It's Instagram alone. Your page jumps just by using hashtags, staying engaged, and what you post. Quality necessarily over quantity. If you are a business, this is if I see one more business owner, rapper, artist, photographer, anybody, and I go to your social media page, and the last thing I can tell that you do is what you say you do, you posting everything else. What's your business stuff? That irks me. You have to.
So you sell ice cream, but you talking about
You talking
what
about
you did last
politics
night.
and all this other stuff, and sharing fight videos and doing all kinds of other stuff. We don't know what you do because marketing is everything you
Yes.
say and everything you do.
This
That
is why my cover page is me on the set of RTV6.
Right,
Because
right,
that's what I
right.
do.
Absolutely.
So as soon as you go there, there's no
They
question.
should know what you do when
Right.
they go to your page,
Correct.
unless you don't want them to know.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Antonio.
Yeah. What was the question again? I was listening. I
It's
didn't.
hilarious, man.
It's all good.
He was
It's
on
all
that.
good.
No, I was listening.
We're
We're
talking about
We're
talking about the importance of social media
Oh, yeah.
and people
So-
aligning that with what they do as a business.
Yeah, we was just saying you definitely gotta strategically watch what you're posting. I know sometimes I get off in a ham and say things, but
Yeah.
I mean for the most part, people kind of know what they're gonna get out of me on a
Right.
day to day.
But that's your personal page,
Correct.
right? You got your
Exactly.
personal page and you got your business page.
Yeah,
So,
but I mean, just as an entrepreneur, your personal page is you as an
Correct.
entrepreneur, and as
sure.
an entrepreneur, people buy into you, the
Right.
entrepreneur. You know what I
Right,
mean?
right.
Yes.
So if I'm selling
That's so
hair,
true.
people gonna buy their hair because they're buying. A lot of times, everybody's selling hair, so they're buying because Antone sells
Who
hair.
you are, right.
I'm gonna go buy diamond hair.
Right.
Or if I'm selling another product, or if I'm doing real estate, I want to see what type of homes Antonio. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you definitely gotta strategically align what you post.
And if you
social
don't
media.
know, hire my company. We are good. We got you.
And here's something else. If you're in business and you want to stay in business, some days it's better to keep your personal opinion to yourself.
Most days. Most days.
Oh,
Most,
Write that
some
down.
days, most days.
Because unless
Exactly.
you are in the
Don't say that.
business of offering up personal opinions
Yeah.
on the issues of the day,
Yeah.
some days you just need to shut up and let stuff go.
okay.
Because all you're going to do is make a bunch of unnecessary grief and hassle.
I want to, because the demographic change of generations, because there's some probably that listen to this, and I want to break it down a little more. If you are in business, you should care about the rapport of what people think about you. You should. I know we are in a generation now who says, I don't care what nobody think about me. And to piggyback off of him, if I am a musician, I am a singer. Certain topics I will dab into, but certain times when you express yourself beyond your business, some things are better left unsaid because you will lose. It's not like you will lose your certain following who was rocking with you for your hair, who was rocking with you for certain. And usually in business, we do attract the likes of people who sometimes think like us, look like us, dress like us. But for the mass majority, when your business starts to really take off, and you really start getting a lot more followers and more listeners and more viewers, you're talking about people of all walks of life who can still love each other, but just maybe have different views. And just from a Facebook post, you lost business, and you from text.
Right.
You lost
Well,
the
that's
customer.
different if you're making millions of dollars
Correct.
and say that as opposed to just starting.
Starting out,
Because
getting kind of
clearly
middle of the road.
celebrities who are making
Yeah,
millions
they
of
can
dollars.
say, right.
Yeah, but even,
most people,
even if you're the celebrity making millions of dollars, you still have a brand that you have to maintain.
Right. And that may suffer a little bit, but
little.
you know, Walmart can come out and say, I ain't selling to Chinese people no more.
Right.
I mean, if you Chinese, you live close to Walmart, and you want some food, you gonna not go to Walmart?
Well, if
I
you're
mean,
Walmart,
I
you-
think
if you're Walmart,
Walmart
saying
can
that-
afford that,
Yeah, but
right?
you're saying if you're back not really because all your stuff's made in China.
That's a good point. It's a bad analogy. Bad analogy. Everything.
I got a question though, man. I got a question. So, do y'all think that it is important to tie politics into business?
If politics is your business model, yes, it makes absolute perfect sense.
Okay.
If you are Politico and you're the political website, then politics, whether it's news stories or opinions, that is your business. That makes absolute perfect sense. You need to delve into it. I argue if politics is not your business, unless it's something that impacts you personally, you're better off just leaving it alone. Because what do you gain at the end of the day?
Right.
Okay.
What about you, King?
To me, this is a constant battle. I'm gonna keep it 100
Okay.
because certain issues, I could care less if I lost it all because of my heartstrand of what I'm talking about. So when we're talking politics, when we're talking certain branches of politics, civil rights, certain things that I speak out on, it is a constant battle. You don't know how many times I sit at my phone and all right, no, delete that, delete that. You know, you
Yeah,
get that heated
I've done
moment.
that
Yeah.
too.
You know what I'm saying? And you know, all right,
Yeah.
nah, you know, let me just take that back. I do that a lot.
Okay.
So I don't have it. Look, I have a team around me who will tell me. Chris calls me. My assistant calls me. They'll be like, if I even put something up, it's good to have that team of viewpoint. They'll call me and say, hey man, either change that or take that down. You know what I'm saying? People that look out for your best interest. But it is a battle for me. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah.
It's
Okay.
a battle for
What about you,
me.
T?
Yeah, I don't think it's like you said, if you're in the political world, then I think it. But for the most part, I think you should separate that and just leave your business, and you know, let's let your personal views on politics kind of be your personal views. But at a certain point, though, your company kind of grows to a certain point to where you're not so
Bogged
attached to
down.
it. I mean, well, you're attached to it, but you're not so. The people are not so
Defined by it.
attaching you to your business. Your business kind of stands alone.
Right.
Then you probably can, on your personal
Yeah.
page, kind of
For sure.
speak how you want to speak. But and when you first starting out, it's best to just kind of leave it. Your politics, kind of just leave it inside because you don't even want to put it on your personal page when you
Right.
first.
So I would think you don't have that
Having
time
a
and
company.
energy. You're trying to grow a business. Get the
Right.
hell off social media.
Exactly.
Post your damn opinion.
Say that.
Let's talk about toxic partners, toxic
Oh,
business.
that's a good question.
This happens a lot. I've had two situations where I was working closely with some individuals on a website. They were partners. These was women. They grew up together. They were together for years and years until they became business partners. Until they had to sign contracts and do all these things, and then the money started coming, and as we said earlier, it all fell apart.
Right.
How do you decide and know when someone is too toxic for you, and how should one move as a business owner to keep going in the direction that they're going in, but remove the toxic people? Because some of these people are people that one business partner that I was working on his website, a guy who got out of jail, and he was letting him dictate some of the aspects of his business. I'm just like, this dude just got out of jail. Why you gonna let him tell you've been making money before he But some people are so tied into their friendships and their family, and they don't want to let go. So let's speak on that. We'll start with you, Shabazz.
No, see, this is where the conservative lawyer in me comes in. It was just like, okay, thank you. This relationship is now done and over. Pursuant to our agreement, section 35, subparagraph 3, I'm hereby officially serving you 30 days notice that this relationship will be terminated.
You're fired.
Yep. We will wind down the partnership. It's been real and it's been fun, and maybe one day it'll be real fun.
Right.
Yeah,
And have you had to do that?
Yeah, I mean, there are
Sabotage?
a couple of partnerships that just didn't work out the way we thought it would, and so that's when we kind of gave ourselves sort of a grace period. Hey, let's try this for 90 days. Let's see if it works. If it really doesn't deliver what we thought it was going to deliver, we'll just kind of go about our separate ways.
Right.
And even when I've done business with people who are very close friends, I always maintain let's get everything in writing and have a clear understanding
For sure.
of what our responsibilities are and what our business relationship is going to be. Because I do not believe losing a friend for 30 years
For sure.
is worth the grief and time
Right.
and hassle if this doesn't work. And we get
Right.
we get that understanding first. Hey, if it doesn't work, we'll always still be friends. Hey, we tried it. It
Right.
didn't do what it was
Right.
supposed to do. Then we just go back to smoking cigars and drinking scotch together.
And eating apple bacon.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pepperwood
For
bacon.
me,
I'm sorry.
for me, toxic can also be identified as negative energy. Like when I'm around them, you should open up your senses. You should open up, look beyond just the money, look beyond like the opportunity, listen to what they're saying, ask important questions. Really,
Understand
background
why.
and history.
Right.
Why,
Right.
why are you going into business with them? Why, get their history. Because I can't do business with someone whose vibe is just like
Yeah.
off. Like I'm literally in a situation right now where it's like that. Like I'm the only excited one. I'm the only one working. Cause toxic is so broad. Like it's like toxic could be like a person who overpromised and does absolutely nothing. Somebody
Right.
who also attaches to you because of your work ethic.
Right.
And had no intentions, even though it came out of their mouth that they had intentions to help you.
Right.
In the back of their mind, they had no intentions. Only thing
Right.
they had intentions
Right.
to do was leech
Right.
off of your success.
Right.
Yeah.
You have this is so I'm saying you have to put people around you.
Right.
You do who meet. I mean, they meet your team, and you have other people. You give buy-in, and like you two, the team. Nobody should come in here
For sure.
without meeting all of y'all.
Right.
That's something that is key, man. Because
it is.
it is very key that we get that down. Because toxic, man. And it comes in another array of forms. But like you said, even with getting with family and friends
Right,
and
right.
tying other people in, and getting other people's opinions.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to help.
He's
You
another
want to
killer.
help people
No,
because family.
No,
and all
you need
that.
to leave those people where they are and mail them a check
Absolutely.
Yeah.
and stay the hell away.
You'll save more money just
Yep.
mailing them a check.
Yep.
Yeah.
They put them on a
Right.
roster.
Yep.
Antonio.
Yeah, that's one of my hard things to do is kind of removing people because I'm not. If I meet you, I like you,
Yeah.
then you with me.
Right.
But sometimes it gets kind of hard when you feel like somebody's not in it like you are, especially
Right.
if you partnered up or whatever, or
The passion goes up and down.
yeah,
Right.
and you're looking for, you count on them for certain things, and they're not delivering,
Right.
and it can get frustrating, and sometimes it's hard to really tell that person that without being you're probably going to say it rude. It's probably going to come off rude because you probably have held it in.
Right.
Sometimes
Right.
you hold it in.
Yeah.
you
Usually by the
you
time it come out, it's not
like,
nice.
Yeah, it comes out in a negative way. So that's one of the things that I kind of am dealing with, or not dealing with now, but like it's hard. It's kind of hard for me
Sure.
to deal with that in that situation. So
Right.
that's something that I'm open to to
Right.
learn. You know what I'm saying, and dealing with them situations
Right.
myself. So.
Right.
That's
That's
kinda
awesome
where
that
I'm at.
that you're being transparent with that as well, because a lot of times when we have success or when we think we figured it out, we meet that one person that challenges our ability to make the decisions that we know that we can make. So and it's those things like in Shabazz State, there's a couple times where you just have to make sure it's on a contract and everybody knows what they're supposed to be doing.
Correct.
At the end of the day, if you get that all settled out when they sign on the dotted line, you can always pull that handy dandy paper out and say, well, look, these are the things that you said you were going to do, and this is what happens because you didn't do those things. So it solves so many different things. But but that makes it hard when it's family, or when it's somebody you grew up with. You
That's
tend
why
to
you
look,
mail those people a
right,
check
right.
and
You
keep
tend to
them
look
away
past
from
the
you.
things that you should do, for the sake of the friendship. So, but like Shabazz said again, you just sit down and like, look, we ain't trying to lose this
Check.
relationship or this friendship, but what we want to do is make sure that the business is taking care of itself.
Correct.
And if you're not able to or I'm not able to, one of us need to step away and we need to replace that figure so that we can, move and make progress.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a tough thing to do. Like I said, I witnessed a guy who is a very successful personal trainer, just does well, in the training field, period. Guy got out of jail, man, and he took him under his wing, like, look, we gonna rock together. I've been knowing you since way back. You can work for me. He done got big, and but there's one aspect of this fella. He has no understanding of business. He only has what he thinks. So there was a situation where I had to sit in the room and hear this guy who had just got out of jail argue why he shouldn't have to wear a T-shirt at a company at a company gathering.
I remember that.
Oh man, we doing our own thing. You know what I'm saying? We all in here together. You know what I'm saying? You already doing your thing. You got your company, you got your shirts and stuff, man. I can just wear my wife beater because that represents me. I'm just like,
Yo, ain't no
and this
unity,
dude works
man.
for you?
You gotta be in one accord, man.
I mean, if someone has that kind of mindset, they don't
Correct.
work for you.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And I hate to, I'll
don't
never,
work with you.
I'll never call out the names on that, but that was just shocking to me to witness.
I think a lot of smaller businesses should operate like a bigger business. Meaning, you do background check. You submit a piece of paper.
Right.
You know what
It's
that would
costly.
do to somebody.
It's costly. It's worth the investment.
And it is, but it's a level of like, if I'm coming to you thinking about working with you, and I have a perception of you in my mind that you're on some level that I said you were, and I come in and you hand me something that's kind of like, yeah, we want to know about you.
Mm-hmm.
What that does for me is the first perception I now has changed to, man, these people are serious.
Right.
Many people, you know what I'm saying? Many people when they start out, they don't do things that sustain. This is what it's going to be. Foundation. When you lay a house, you have to lay solid foundation and then build from there.
Right.
And so a lot of businesses, like when I go in, when I get people, man, we're immediately like, this is what I expect from you. And that is the point where you know what you're going to get from that moment on.
Right.
Because how they respond after what you set up for them from the very start should give you a clear indication on what it would be like for the next 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Because if they shy away from it, I like people who look at it and go, all right, I'm going to look at it and come back to you. And they have questions. And they have revision. I love that.
Right.
I don't like people who then just get it, get so excited, and just sign it. And then I don't like the person who you already giving me your answer. You get it, and you don't hit me back. I ain't about to blow you up. You gave me my answer.
Right.
So we make this too hard sometimes. We gotta put business first and really hold people to accountability. Take family and love out. And let's put
Absolutely.
business in.
There's lots of things to think about.
Why are you here?
Right.
Before you partner up with someone who may be toxic. And a lot of times, you don't know they're toxic until y'all 2-3 years into the business. And
They
you
give you the
realize,
best.
like, oh, wow.
Like relationships, you give them the best of yourself. You give them your best.
We was
you
good for
get
2
them,
years.
You get comfortable. Man.
Nah, my spider sense, no.
Yeah.
Usually there's a sign early on that this is going to be a problem. It's just whether you choose to acknowledge it.
There you go.
The red
It's like I say about dating. It's called the waiter rule. Look how they treat the waiter.
And because no one's perfect,
You gotta explain
what can
that.
you
Yeah.
tolerate? Yeah.
Please explain that.
It's an old rule which says if you go on a date with somebody, the first date, observe how they treat the server. For example, if there's a mistake, are they rude, obnoxious, do they question everything, do they get the check, are they just a pain in the ass, or are they really cool about it? Because usually 9 out of 10 times that is exactly how this person's going to be treating you in 6 months.
Wow, man. That is a diamond. Thank you for throwing that diamond.
That's a nugget.
Whoa.
That's a gold nugget. I hope y'all listening out there.
Use that one.
Sis has a
It
question.
used to be how you treat your mama, but
Exactly.
now it's how you treat the
Wait,
waiter.
Wait.
It's strange. I like that one.
Yeah.
That is a real good
I
one.
had a question about work-life balance. If you're a business owner, you're an entrepreneur.
Big.
Is there a such thing as work-life balance, or is your passion your whole life?
That is
Should it be
my
your whole life, or should you have some time for you?
That's my biggest struggle. Because
okay.
I am at the
Likewise.
point where I have to schedule time just to think.
Mm.
Like I'm not even
Okay.
I'm not joking. I have to calendar in time to just think. Kendall, stop, turn the TV off, get out of your phone, and think. 30 minutes to an hour. It's hard because I want to go. Because many people who start businesses, it's like you hear this thing balance. And I'm the kind of dude, how can I be balanced when my whole world just got turned upside down? You know what I'm saying? Like many people are in that situation.
Right,
And so
right.
You know, sometimes you have to lean a little bit more. The goal is always to
Yeah.
have more time for your kids, have more time for it. But you know, when you put so much into one, something's gonna lack.
Yeah.
So you have to gauge the order of priority. Right now, I look at my kids and I go, look, I know you want this. I know you want this. I really do. It may be time, money, anything. Daddy has to hustle. Daddy really has to work. And I will say that is a dynamic that most men struggle with, is that being disciplined enough to know when to gauge what where. And we do need to set time. But I ain't gonna lie, I'm probably the worst because I work. Yeah.
I was gonna say when we first started Diamond Hair, that's all I did. I mean, from sun up to sundown, it was full grind mode. I mean, it was only me and my partner, you know, fulfilling orders, and we, you know, we pretty much went from zero to, you know, we throwing out 30, 40 orders a day, and it was like, it went from, you know, it was wild. The phone ringing, you know, emails, and so it was nonstop work.
I remember we had a conversation about somebody waiting on their package and waiting weeks because of back order.
Back order. But then of today, I've kind of made a point to set time for my kids. So I think now I found a very good balance, and I'm not so. And it feels better too. But you know, I'm in a different place in you know, my business, but. I've definitely found a better balance, and I think my kids enjoy it, you know, as well, and they see a better balance in me as well, a little more happier.
I do
you know
give
what I mean?
myself-
things like that.
I give myself
for
a
sure.
reward system. I will be on. I'll say I'll work, and then I may take off a week.
Okay.
But it has. Listen, I will be a mess if I felt like I didn't deserve that vacation. So I don't take it. I've canceled some before because I treat it as a reward system. When starting a business, you should feel like you did when you were at that job you hated. You should have the same feeling. Like, you ever wake up in the morning at your 9 to 5 and go, I don't want to be here? You should feel the same way with your business. Like, you should. There should be moments where you're like, this is the last thing I want to do right now. Like, I really,
Gotcha.
you know what I'm saying? Like, look, it's not all pretty and shiny and glittery all the time. There's some hard times. So for me, I have to treat it as a reward system. I work hard, reach goals and accomplishments, and then go
And
chill.
if you're a true entrepreneur too, your goal is to always work yourself out your business.
Correct.
So you don't
That's
like
a
if
good
you're
point.
if you're trying to.
If this is your
Give-
only bread,
Correct.
you-
Well, if it's your only thing that you do, but I mean, we're talking about entrepreneurship at this
Right.
panel, so
Right.
your main goal is to try to work yourself out your business. So
Absolutely.
you should not be trying to, you know, stay gung ho in your business day to day.
Absolutely.
You should. Your goal is to work yourself out and start something else and go spend your time doing something else.
Yeah.
You know, so. And that's how you create opportunity, because you're essentially removing yourself, which creates a job for somebody else.
Absolutely.
So I would take the not necessarily work hard approach, but work smart approach. Wife and I don't have children, so it's just us. So, and luckily we have different sleep schedules. My wife is a late night person. I'm a 5 o'clock in the morning person. So most of the writing I get done is when she's asleep. So I'll get up at 5 o'clock, make coffee, let the dog out, and then spend like 5 until about 8:30 just getting all my writing done for all my stories. So my wife is up, and like I said, it's the summertime. It's like, okay, we can hang out together because everything that I need to do is pretty much done.
Right.
Now, my wife also knows that dealing with me is kind of like dealing with a police officer or firefighter. Every once in a while, something's going to happen, and that alarm's going to go off, and you just got to go
Right.
deal with it.
Right.
One day my wife was complaining, we were at dinner. She's like, honey, I think you work too hard. I was like, really? Well, tell you what, we will send back the St. Elmo's steaks, and we'll walk across the street to Steak and Shake. And then that kind of changed. That kind of changed her perspective just a little bit. But
See,
my
my
wife
girlfriend was like, okay, where you go?
was like, well, you go
Don't care
walking.
about it.
I'm staying here. But luckily, like I said, with what I do for a living, you're sort of always on the clock. I mean, that's just the curse of how we are. The trick is to, like I said, just kind of do it the smart way. And for example, my wife knows that if, you know, when sessions going on or doing an election season, you know, that's like being in retail right around Christmas time. That's your busy time of the year, and hopefully the people you're with sort of understand that and respect that. Now, when you're not as busy, then that's when you need to make the time and energy and effort to go do stuff with them.
Absolutely. That's good stuff. Something else I wanted to hit on is Smaller businesses have to compete with bigger businesses. And in order to compete with bigger businesses, your customer service has to be excellent and beyond excellent.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some businesses fail at that. You know, they're on a small business level and they argue with customers, you know, they got a bad rap. You know, explain why it's important to match the customer service in the fields that you're competing in.
You see, but I don't think small businesses necessarily compete with bigger businesses. I think you compete with other small businesses that do the same thing
Okay.
that you do. Because hopefully you've carved out a niche for yourself. When the Walmart opened right there around 56 and Georgetown Road, or 46 Lafayette Road, everybody was saying how this is going to kill the neighborhood and kill small businesses, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. My little brother at the time had a small computer repair shop. He was happy Walmart was there. He's like, you know what? Because I'm not here to sell computers. I'm here to fix the computers that you buy from Walmart.
Right, right.
And so instead of trying to compete, it's like,
You
what
found
do
a
we?
way to-
Yeah, yeah. What do we do
Just find your
differently?
lane and-
Yeah. What do we do differently than the
Right.
bigger guy?
Right.
You know, and what's different now? With
makes
that
you
said, yeah, exactly. Now you still got to provide, you know, good customer service. And actually, I would argue for the small business person, it's even harder because somebody gets one bad experience. You know, that's it. You know,
Right.
you'll
Right.
get crapped over all over at Walmart or
Right.
Target, but you'll
Right.
still go back.
Right. So some businesses have even closed because of the way they do business, in regards to where they are, which is why I'm asking this question because I don't like I went to look like people that I know that I want to support, but the customer service is bad.
Horrible, yeah.
You want me to support you, but you're not providing the same services that we're used to or I'm used to, and I'm supporting you because you my guy. I want to support, but you got to kind of match that same level of service. If not, be better. So
Absolutely.
go ahead.
Honestly, that is the little things. If you run a storefront, is it clean? I teach a thing with my assistant. Man, your job to smile. We've lost some art. We've lost the art of being intentional with treating people right, making them feel good, giving them an experience.
Right.
You guys do a wonderful job of that. You come in here, you greet. It's nothing worse than going into business. Nobody speaks to you.
Right.
You're not personable.
Yeah.
You're in a business that requires to talk to people and run around talking about you hate talking to people. You probably-
Why are you here?
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? We have
Yeah.
to learn the art form of being very personable in this society today and treating people
Yeah.
right, just nice.
Yes.
Just, you know, yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And don't treat the customer like you're doing the customer a favor.
Correct. yeah.
You want some more ketchup?
Yeah, you know.
I give you one more.
You know? Yeah. I can't stand it.
Have to go above and beyond.
So-
Customer service is definitely important, and that's one of the main things that we try to hit on is customer service because especially when there's so many people doing something that you do,
Yeah.
you want to make sure that you try to separate. Like you said, you want to be what you call it
Purple.
purple.
What
You
makes
want to
you
be
purple.
purple. You want to be
Yeah.
different than what they're doing
Correct.
in their business model. So
Absolutely.
the first thing that people see is your customer service when they walk into your place of business. So you definitely want to give them a good first impression that makes them feel at ease when they
You
come
do a
into
great
your
job
business.
at that.
Yeah, and it's
you do
either
a great job
it's either
at
the
that.
product or how you made them feel, or both.
Right.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
either the product, like Apple and Android war all the time. Apple saw something that Android did, steal it, make it better. And y'all know Apple got sued by Android a couple $1 million and took it to them in pennies on like
Yeah, I
10 trucks.
remember
You know what I'm
that.
saying?
Yeah.
You know, always feuding. So sometimes it's the product. Then other times it's how you made them feel through the
Right,
through the
right.
Yeah.
Presentation is everything. Like I was saying, you do a
Marketing.
great job
Yeah.
at that. I've
Yeah.
seen the Diamond Hair Salon and the Blueprint Investment.
Yeah.
That those kind of things make it interesting. It's important for you to make it appealing.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying? And they should see that when they come.
And if the customer has feel like they have an emotional investment in your business, when the bad things happen, that always do, there'll be a lot more forgiving.
Absolutely.
Because you treated them well, you worked really hard
right,
to fix
right,
X,
right.
Y,
You can have
Z
the
problem.
worst place on the block, but
Yeah.
if you get
Correct.
the best customer
Yeah.
service,
Boy, how you made
Country
them feel.
Kitchen is a prime example of
Shout
that.
out to
man.
Country Kitchen.
They don't have the best looking place.
Yes.
It's not in the best corner of the city,
But
but they have the best customer service and the best food.
Product,
Yeah,
hands
that's
down.
right. How
Their
you
product
make-
service is unbelievable.
And that's why you never eat at a restaurant with dirty windows. Because if you won't wash the windows, God only knows what else you're doing back
My
there.
pop told me the more rundown it is, the better the food.
better
That's
the
how they
food,
grew up.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how like that.
You gotta work harder.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what Uncle used to say about ugly women too.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that.
Hey, hold on, yo.
It's like the ugly woman's got to be a better cook.
Hey, yo, look, okay.
I'm not co-signing on that statement. I'm not
But
co-signing on that
but
statement.
if I didn't say something like that, you guys would think
man,
something was
my God,
wrong, and the
man.
audience was like, "Hey, what's wrong with that
I'm not
duel?"
co-signing.
I have a question, man, and you know, this probably be my last question. Donald Trump. I want to touch on him in business. What do y'all think? You know, because there's a lot of misconceptions, and you know, people think that he's racist, you know, things like that. I mean, he has said some racist and borderline things, right? But as far as business, how do you think by him being in office would benefit us as a people?
One of the most, now I'm not a Trump supporter, but when you come from the avenue of business, what is, when I say this to people, I go, what is marketing? Most people are like, I don't know. I tell them the real definition of marketing is everything you say and everything you do. From an avenue of gaining attention to bringing revenue, Donald Trump is simply amazing at being idiotic in reform and how he goes about it, in my opinion. You know, there's many opinions about him. Many folks, one that I kind of agree with, you know, I'm sure if my daddy gave me $1 million, $10,000, $20,000, $100,000.
That's what your father is supposed to have.
Exactly.
Set up for the
and
kid.
set up for you. And if I watched my father, I don't, you know, people conceptualize it kind of as a thing of like, oh, he just went through life, never saw his dad make any moves in business, and all of a sudden he got old and his dad just gave him money. I'm pretty sure Donald Trump saw business dealings, was around business all the time.
Right.
And then, you know, I get it a lot. My father raised me, but I'm different than my dad. So Donald Trump may be different than his father. And then how he functions directly affects us in many different ways. So it's a lot of different viewpoints on Donald Trump. And it's a hard one.
Yeah,
You know
but,
what I'm saying?
okay,
Yeah.
I mean, you want to touch on that? Or?
Go ahead.
I'll let you go first.
Well, I think Donald Trump, business, I think he does great business. I can't agree with him in politics and, you know, the racist things that he does. You know, I can't agree and I won't agree with it. But as far as him business-wise, I think business owners should look at him as an example. You know, he gives you the blueprint on building a business and failing it and still keeping his name. You know what I mean? So
For sure.
So you definitely should watch him in business, but you know, don't watch him too much.
Here's the thing people forget: Donald Trump is not stupid. Because you do not build skyscrapers in New York City and Chicago unless you learn how the game is played. Plain and simple, number one. Now, does being a good business person automatically translate into being a good governor or president? Not necessarily. Because in business, I can walk in the room, I'm the boss, not necessarily I'm the boss, until everybody to stand up, they stand up.
Right.
Congress is a co-equal branch of government. The judiciary is a co-equal branch of government. And what the Trump people have not been able to figure out is like, hey, why aren't these guys doing what I tell them to do? Well, because, Mr. President, there's this kind of thing called the Constitution that's kind of been around for like 247 years.
Yeah,
so they can kind of do...
governing body.
Yeah, they can go tell you to engage in self-copulation, and there's really nothing you can do about it. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
Now, as conservative as I am, people say, government should be run like a business. No, government should be run with smart business practices, which is you spend your money wisely, which means in some places you're going to have to spend more money, other places you're going to have to spend less. There are some things that government does well, there are other things that government does not do well. And I think with smart business acumen and listening to people, you can figure all that out. Now, has Trump done it so far? I think the jury's going to still be out for a while on that. But once again, going back to that main thing, is Trump a smart business person? Yes, because you don't become a billionaire by being stupid. You may not like the guy, but Donald Trump is not here to be liked. Donald Trump came to make money.
Exactly.
And by the way, I don't believe Trump is a racist. I believe Trump believes only one thing, and that is Trump. And everything else, if it doesn't feed into the Trump brand, Trump doesn't care.
But how does he benefit us as a people by being in office as far as business? You know, I mean, are there...
Actually, decreasing the regulatory burden. All that damn paperwork that you got to fill out. All the tax compliance that you have to go through, and simplifying the tax code, if it's done in the right way.
Man, that will help a lot.
Yeah, somebody like a Donald Trump understands that because they've had to do it, And so, from that perspective, as business people, somebody like a Donald Trump is actually helpful.
Yeah.
Is this the time for people to become business owners under a Trump administration?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah.
And why, let's go into why that is beneficial.
I mean, with Republicans in charge, Republicans tend to be more business friendly than Democrats do. That's just the nature
Yeah.
Right.
of the business and how they function, operate. I tend to think government actually tends to work best when we have divided government. When one party
Yeah.
controls one thing, the other party controls the other. That way they can kind of act as a check and balance
Right.
on each other. Because the most unbridled growth this country's seen in the last 30 years was when Bill Clinton was president. Republicans controlled the Congress. Back in the late 90s. I mean, so
Yeah.
it would be nice to have that back, but like I say, if you're
It
going to
was
start
also the internet boom, which was
Yeah, because they want
Kind
less
of a-
government involvement.
yeah,
Yeah.
but it was less government regulation that
Yeah.
created that
Oh,
internet
okay.
boom
Right.
in the first place. So,
Right.
but I do think that if you're going to start a business, actually now's the time to do it because
So many
we're
different avenues.
because there's so many different avenues, so many different things you do. This is why I love America. You can come up with an app that does something and make $1 bajillion.
Right.
Period. 100 years ago, that was unheard of.
Yeah.
We actually live better today than most millionaires did back in the early 1900s. Believe it or not.
Yeah.
Right.
The houses may not be as big. We have a lot more conveniences.
Industrial revolution, all of that, yeah.
Than they ever did and ever will. Which is why, as much as we have our problems here, I don't see anybody getting on boats to leave America. That's why I tell my Back to Africa friends, those people don't want you unless you got a skill. We're trying to eat.
What do you think? Is
Man,
this-
honestly, I want to say this to something we said earlier though.
It's true.
If you are not in business, we have a lot of people who are not in business who speak on these things. And I just want to say, we live in a world where people speak on things they just should not. And so
Yeah.
there are talks. When you was growing up, I don't know about you, but I couldn't go in the living room when certain people were in the living room with mom and daddy. They get out and say, "This grown folks
Right.
talking." You feel me? And so in the upper echelon of business, that would be the grown folks talking. And so with Trump in office, I'm kind of a we'll see. Many Trump supporters and those while Trump is in office see him as someone who makes promises to niche groups and doesn't fulfill them.
Yeah.
So as a business owner, we'll see. That's kind of who I'm at.
Okay, Tony.
Well, I think his whole agenda has been more about business,
Sure.
pushing the business agenda. And I mean, that's what he is. He's a businessman. So I think he's wanting America to be just that, doing business. So I definitely think now's the time, to try to jump entrepreneur or business in the business world.
Ride that wave.
Yeah, ride the wave because
Use what you got to get what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Use
Right.
what you got
Ain't no
to
telling what we're gonna get next.
Yeah, for sure.
I wanted to ask about, 'cause we talked about, I can remember, but something that somebody said that made me think about doing business with people or people shying away and missing out on opportunities because they don't want to do business with people that disagree with their political standpoints, that disagree with, or they may just not like them as a person, but don't understand the value of
Correct.
the opportunity, and they miss out a lot of money because, like you
Correct.
said before, I will only do business with like-minded
Like-minded people, right.
But you won't do business with people that aren't black,
Exactly.
or you won't do business with people that are Republican or a
Correct.
different political party, and they miss out on opportunities because they're
Yeah.
so small-minded.
Correct.
But the real capitalistic approach is
Correct.
Everybody's money is green.
There you go. There you go.
Man.
And have you had those situations where you've come across where you had to really check your own self and say, is this opportunity, worth it? Is it something that I can benefit from? Is it really something that I can pass up?
Correct.
You know.
Because, like in the ministry world, many people will say, I believe that every opportunity is not a calling, it's just an opportunity.
Okay.
So when you go in with that level of a hat on, most of my most lucrative business deals have been from people who dress different than me,
Okay.
listen to different music than me,
Mm-hmm.
drive a different car than me, are attracted to a different kind of woman than me,
Mm-hmm.
and those have been some of the most lucrative deals.
Mm.
I've been hurt the most by people who look like me,
Mm.
dress like me, talk like me, want the same stuff. And that goes along with the boat process. Usually when you're on the boat and you have different people, you need all people. Those people should not they should not be yes men.
Yeah.
Everything I say, you agree with. You need people on your team who are not oppressed with your title.
Right.
There you go.
You know, you need people who won't care. You can't kindle and got all of that. I don't care. You kindle to me. And so, you know, I think it's important to expand your circle, get out there and get that business going.
We have a saying in politics: there are no permanent friends, no permanent enemies, just permanent interests.
Absolutely.
Got all that.
One thing that I think that we as a people need to get away from is shunning people because we disagree with their
Correct.
viewpoint.
Right.
I think that, you know, we can disagree with people and continue to work with them. You know, we
Correct.
can disagree with people and continue to have discussions and conversations about things. You know, as an emotion, we tend to say, forget him, I ain't working with him no more. But you know what? You might have to work with that person later on. He might have the only key to the building that you're trying to buy, you know. So it's important to maintain business relationships and relationships in general.
And I think one
You
of
know,
the tools,
and we have to get to a point where disagreeing with somebody doesn't mean that we hate someone.
agree
Right.
to disagree.
Right.
Right.
There you go.
Now,
Yeah.
now I will say this: if there are fundamental philosophical differences in how things should be done, then I totally understand not necessarily doing business with certain individuals. There are people in the political world that I will not take advertising from because we're just in totally different, complete places. I mean,
Is it a moral thing?
it's, for example, I have friends of mine, like during the whole same-sex marriage issue debate.
Right.
I was in favor of it. I don't care.
Right.
Because once you get married, sex is always the same anyway. So it's what it is. But there were people who were opposed to
Wow,
it,
man.
who wanted to advertise, you know, in my forums. I was like, gentlemen, I'm flattered that you asked, but philosophically, we're just in totally different places, and I still have to be able to sleep at night. So
Sure.
I'm just going to politely say no. Now, if you guys are advertising another program, another agenda, sure, we could do business. For example, you guys are big believers in an intact two-parent household. So am I. On that issue, we're together. So if you got something going on there,
So in the political world, you have to be, you know, you have to hold that position.
yeah. I mean, in the political world, you have to maintain your integrity.
Are you a Republican
Huh?
or a Democrat? I just want to ask.
I'm Abdul.
Okay.
I do what's good for
See,
me.
I was-
Yeah.
He's Abdul, and Abdul makes money.
Yep.
Makes
I
me
I mean, so even though we disagreed on the same-sex marriage issue, like, hey, if you want to do the single mom issue or teenage unwed pregnancy, sure. We have some agreement to go on. But on this issue, we're just too far apart, and it's just
Yeah.
better off that we don't work together on this. Maybe we can work together on some other stuff, but just this issue, we can't do.
Right. And that's, I mean, again, you know, I mean, I guess it does depend on the business in the field that you're in. You know, and there may be some situations where
Hey, these Klansmen want to come use my dry cleaner.
yeah, there may be some situations where you may have to decline.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
but
All
you know,
money ain't good
not
money.
that's different
I love
from
that.
burning
Yep.
the relationship, right?
Burning bridges.
You know, because unfortunately, as opinionated individuals in America, we all have our own viewpoint on how we feel and go about it. But at the end of the day, we still gonna buy what we need, and we still gonna
Correct.
make those decisions. So we have to maintain those kind of relationships in regards to, economics.
Yeah,
Right. I mean, that's just what it is.
Yeah.
Whether we agree or disagree or not, or find someone else that can do
Yeah,
it. So. But man, this discussion has been great, man.
All day.
I think we covered just about everything in regards to the do's and whatnots. Oh, one last thing. This will be the ending question. Being in college, a lot of people feel like it's a waste of time having a degree.
That's a good question.
Because we know people who have became successful without a degree, and we know people who became successful with a degree. So let's talk about why or why not is it important to have a degree and how that helps you.
Here's the thing. I do not believe, you're talking about somebody with, undergrad degree in journalism and television, master's in government, and a law degree, and who teaches college.
Okay.
Both at the undergrad and graduate level. I will maintain that a 4-year degree is not for everybody.
Okay.
I will say, however, that in the 21st century, you need something other than a high school diploma.
All day.
Some
Yeah,
kind
sure.
of post-secondary education, because unless you are gifted with musical talent or athletic ability, which by the way, you won't be able to do it forever.
Right.
So hopefully you will invest
Right.
wisely.
Right.
Is you will need something, because in a competitive world, here's why I look at it as a potential employer. If I have two people who seem equally qualified, this person has a degree and this person doesn't, usually the person with the degree wins. Does that mean they're better? No, but it means they can start something and they can finish it. And also, the thing that you got to remember about college is, what college, if you do it right, college is the first place usually where you will go and live amongst people that are different than the people you grew up with.
Right.
And that is where usually that is where you learn to deal with people of all walks of life, because you got a roommate, you got to live with somebody that you never ever knew before.
Group
Just-
projects.
Just group project. Yeah, exactly. Those god awful, horrible things.
I hated those.
Your last 2 years of college.
It was always
Horrible.
that one person, man. Oh,
My
yeah, man,
goodness.
I'll turn it in. No, you're not.
It's like, no, just
My
let's call it the Abdul Project. I was like, no, guys, just everybody give me $20. I'll do this, and I don't want to see you
Yeah.
ever again.
Yeah.
But that's
I've
where
done that before.
Yeah, and that's how you learn. To me, that's how you learn to navigate a bureaucracy and deal with that. And that is what colleges should teach you how to do. Now, you also need to be mindful of the major that you get and where you're going to live. Because guess what? If you got a major in art history from IU, and you're living in Goshen, Indiana, you need to learn how to say, "Would you like fries with that?"
Master's degree.
Yeah, because it ain't. Because it ain't
Popping
gonna.
out burgers.
Exactly, because it ain't gonna happen.
Come on,
But
man.
yeah, no.
Oh,
But do
my
I
God.
believe a college degree is outcome determined of success? No. But
Okay.
in the 21st century,
That's important.
all things being equal, I'd rather have one than not have one. Or I'll take that back. I'd rather have a post-secondary education.
Yes.
Okay.
Because look at the data. Look at the unemployment rate for people who dropped out of high school versus people with some post-secondary education. Look at earning, look at income potential.
Sure.
Because not everybody is going to be a basketball player, not everybody's going to be a rap star. And my father made it abundantly clear to me and my 4 brothers, none of you can sing, and y'all suck at sports, so you better go get an education.
Kendall.
I think it's culture, how you were raised, background, kind of I am more adapted to. I don't disagree with his motto. Like saying, coming in with a college degree, you finish something you started. I'm more of just the grit of someone. I have some college. I have what we call OJT, on the job training, going along with many men, who did or didn't. I've heard so many stories, many rooms I've been in, many meetings I've had. I don't think it's necessary. I personally know more millionaires who did not go to college than did. And I think it has a lot to do with today, like the maybe the last 15 years, how so much social media has come into play.
Technology has
Brilliant
changed
minds,
a lot.
technology, opportunities, because those kinds of businesses that start up do most time hire like-minded people, and so usually in corporations I've found, if the owner didn't go to college, it's not that he doesn't have, but majority, some usually have those who didn't, who come from a grit. So it's culture. To me, I don't think that it's necessary, but for some it is. College got my father out of the hood. It literally was a catalyst to change the dynamic of our family history. So he used his gifts of athletics and was the first African American male to go to college. So I'm not a non-college activist, but I think it's
sure.
a culture thing.
Antonio.
I think people can, as long as you get an education,
Correct.
I think that you'll survive, and experience pretty much trumps everything. So if you find something that you want to do while you're going to college, or while you're just hanging out and whatever, you should be trying to look, like if you have a business that you're trying to do, you should be trying to build towards your business. I think
So at least go to school for that.
yeah, so but sometimes you don't have that direction. So I will say college is a good thing. I have my bachelor's degree, but for me, it didn't drive me to that to be the type of person that I am now.
Right.
I think it probably was a stepping stone to say what I didn't want to do, because what I got out of college was go work for somebody.
Right.
But I never wanted to work for any even through college. I'm like, man, I don't want to work
It can
for
make you
nobody.
independent.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
So even in college, like I was spoke on earlier, I tried different little things to try to generate
Right.
a way outside. I mean, anybody that went to Indiana Tech during my tenure know that I wasn't the broke guy. You know what I mean? So I've
Right.
always found a way to
Right.
generate. So it's just been in me. But as far as speaking on like college, I think it's important to some people, and I think it's beneficial to some people. But I mean, it's not for everybody.
Right.
I think some people, and I know some people who didn't go to college, and they're just as brilliant as somebody
Right.
who went
Absolutely.
to college. So, I mean, it's kind of for the person. You just got to kind of know your direction. Just kind of
Right.
figure a direction and just run with it.
Yeah.
Right. Good answers, man. Good
Yeah,
answers.
man, we appreciate y'all, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And man, this has been such a great discussion. We got to do it again.
Yeah,
You know, and I say that because these discussions, we can have this discussion one time and we can have it 10 times. It's
Yeah.
always going to reach somebody different.
Yeah.
And that's why we need to continue having them. But
Yeah.
what we're going to do is close out, you know, closing statements in regards to what you do, how they can reach you, and you know your last Ruha.
Easiest way to find out what I write in every day is just go to indiepolitics.org. That is my political, actually award-winning website. Thank you,
There you
Washington
go.
Post.
There you go.
All right.
Sure,
All
work for a
right.
good guy.
Okay.
Congrats, man.
Ah, thank you. And just follow me on Facebook, Twitter, social media. Just Google Abdul. And by the way, all the people who got really worked up last time, thank you. You guys were awesome. I'm like the Emperor in Star Wars. I feed on your hatred. It just makes me stronger with the dark side of the Force. So keep it coming.
My music, everywhere music is sold, King Kendall, kingkendall.com if you need to find it all. With my media endeavors, man, thehypemagazine.com and techteamcrew.com, social media analytics, web design, video production, marketing, everything, techteamcrew.com, and it's upward. I love it.
It is. Antonio.
You can reach me on Instagram at Prince317. You can find the Diamond Hair Company at diamondvirginhair.com. You can follow Blueprint Investments and follow my investment and real estate world. You can follow that at Blueprint Investments on Instagram, Facebook, Antonio Lisenby. That's pretty much where you can find me. So
There it is.
All right.
Ebony.
I just want to thank you guys. I think it's so important for business owners and people that have a passion to understand that there's so many avenues and so many resources out there. A lot of times we spend our times reading books and watching YouTubes when we have people in our own city. We have people like
Right.
you guys.
Right.
You know, we have platforms like this that can literally give you that startup that you need immediately, you
Yeah.
know, and give you all this wealth of knowledge that you guys have dropped
Yeah.
on us today. So I just think it's important for us to really understand that, you know, we are resources. And you guys, us, living bodies, you know, we can get the information that we need more than some of the things that we are actually chasing after is wasting our time.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Because today I think we heard all of it. The good,
Oh, yeah.
the bad, the ugly,
Yeah.
you know, everything.
in-between,
Good
all
And
stuff.
the in between.
Oh my
Even
God,
heard
good
got
stuff.
some dating
Yeah.
advice, you know, all kinds of
I'm talking about the waiters.
Hey, watch how your partner treat the waiter.
Right.
The waiter.
Yeah.
All day.
yeah,
That's
so
a
thank
big
you
deal.
guys.
As Grandma would say, eventually gonna have to turn on the light and have a conversation.
Wow.
Two of us are the same. One of us ain't necessary. Get it in.
Whoa.
Get it
Oh,
in.
man.
He wills.
Hey, this has been great, man. You
Yeah,
know,
man.
I mean, all three of y'all, man, drop some diamonds,
Yeah.
man. You know, and like
Say
what
what?
Sis said, man, the whole dating thing, that was hilarious. Shout out to the viewers, you know, thank y'all, man, for tuning in, man.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all. You know, I just highly encourage people to just invest in their passions, man. I mean, you know, just get around like-minded people, and if you want to go after a business, I mean, just go for it, man. You know, just you have to plan things out, but you know, there are, you know, like what Sis said, there are, you know, people that are doing it. I mean, there's different avenues that you can learn from, and just, you know, gain that knowledge and just, you know, go for it. You know, I mean, I think the fear is what stops people.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when we created this platform, man, you know, there was some doubt. You know, there was a little bit of fear, but
Yeah.
we said, "Hey, man, look, we're gonna put our coin together, man, and we're gonna
Yeah.
build this thing." You know,
Sure.
you know, and just, you know, go from there.
Yeah.
You know, just have God as the base, and just, you know, just do what we have to do, and not feel entitled, and not be dependent on people. You know,
Right.
we just, you know, we want to build things
Yeah.
organically in the right way. So,
Indeed.
but if we had let that fear just, you know, overcome us, then
Yeah.
none of this would be here. You know,
Right.
this discussion would have never happened.
Yeah.
So, you know, these are things that I'm just, you know, I'm happy for, man. You know, and to see you guys, man, you know, continue to do what you're doing, and just growing. You know, I salute you guys, man, and I just encourage people to, you know, do the same.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's good stuff, man. I'm a business person myself. This conversation has been so insightful for me. And I don't know everything. I realized that by working with the Merit Group. Shout out to the Merit Group.
Oh, shout out to the Merit Group,
with
man.
Shamara
Yes.
Cox.
Yes.
I encourage anybody who has a strategic, a business that is trying to make that business that they have now
Reach
go
out
to the
to her.
next level.
Shamara Cox?
Shamara
Shout out
Cox.
Shamara. I know Shamara. Shout out.
Reach out to
Shamara
her.
Cox
I know
and the
Shamara.
Merit Group is unbelievable
Yeah.
at strategically taking your business to the next level.
Man, they've been
like
helping
I said,
us.
I thought I knew business until I got in front of a group of people who actually know strategic business. And it helps you create more than one revenue stream with the business that you have now.
Yeah.
So look up the Merit Group. But this discussion today has been wonderful
Yeah.
for me, and I'm sure wonderful for the viewers. We had a lot of people tuning in, and business is always one of those things where people are scared to jump. You know, Steve Harvey talks about that all the
Yeah.
time. You know, just taking that jump. And I can tell you, man, within the last 7 years, I've jumped at least 2 or 3 times,
Exactly.
and I have landed on my feet every single time. You know what I'm saying? We can't be afraid to jump out there and jump into something. You just don't know what awaits you. You know what I'm saying? And then you know what the best part of it is when you stay consistent and stay
good.
with it.
That's good.
It grows even better. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So I think that we have to stop giving up on our passion, stop getting up on our dream, and just get after it.
That's good.
And once you do that, the sky opens.
Can't be,
You know what I'm saying?
Can't be afraid of success. man.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Can't be afraid of
Yeah.
success. Get out there and do it. Shout
Get
out
it.
to the viewers for always tuning in. We're going to have more conversations like this. This panel was great. Thank them all for
Yeah.
coming, and we'll have them come back to talk more. Definitely want to dig deeper into real estate and some more online
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll have
yeah.
Shabazz back to talk about a lot of things as well. So thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Or this week, sorry. Thursday.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, my girl, man, Natural Jasmine, she's talking about to explore the beautiful weekends. She's doing her Natural Jasmine hair care style.
Oh, really?
Man.
Because her partner
That
with
was
the heights,
incredible.
man, she's moving to
Was,
the
man.
I mean, so much knowledge,
It's
man.
serious.
Whew.
It's
I already
serious,
know if
bro.
there is
My
that.
You know what I'm
goodness.
saying? So I got the whole office suite waiting for me, you know? Yeah, it's
My
good.
camera ready.
It's going down.
Great show, guys.
Yeah,
My pleasure.
Yes, indeed.
Hey, Tony, I want to
First
talk to you
time
about
on
some
air.
investments, brother.
Oh, definitely, man.
Hey, I got some capital. I want to see what I can get with the ROI.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
We can definitely have that conversation.
Yes, sir.
I got a deal on. I'm sitting on
You
right
got
now.
something right now? Okay. All right, let's talk about it. My problem is I can't figure out what to invest in that I'm confident in.
Marijuana stocks.
Yeah. Tell you
Marijuana
what.
stocks?
Yeah.
Everybody jump on that.
Yeah. Yes.
Jump
Where
on
the
that.
money
Which
is right
which
there.
which stocks? Which one? I mean, do you know?
I talked to my broker buddies. Invested pot in marijuana.
But you know what I found?
At least
Even
the
like
medicinal
stuff
stuff.
they use to make marijuana, hydroponics, all that stuff, it's all blowing up.
Oh yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, hydroponics is big.
Yeah.
See,
Oh, my
if you
goodness.
invested in now, because I think in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be legalized everywhere.
Yeah.
And
That-
then